Most large dams were and still are designed to have the capacity to produce hydroelectric power, and their various components are carefully arranged to control that process. It begins with the level of the lake. It has to be high enough so that the water falls with great velocity into the intake pipes, which lead all the way to the powerhouse on the downstream face of the dam. Here at Hoover, the opening to the intake pipe is right below those deco structures which stick out above the water. Now, the actual making of electricity begins when the water reaches giant turbines near the bottom of the powerhouse. The rushing water is channeled to the turbine blades, which causes them to spin at a tremendous speed. The spinning turbine rotates a tall shaft, which attaches high above to the generator. Here, a wheel lined with magnets called a rotor spins inside a rim of copper wires. As the magnets spin, they generate an enormous amount of electricity in the copper wires, which is then sent along power lines to the outside world. At Hoover, there are 17 generators producing over 2 million kilowatts of electric energy that is sent to major cities in the Southwest. But the bulk of its power and a good deal of its water still goes to Los Angeles, the city that helped make Hoover a reality and was made great in return.
Without Hoover Dam, Los Angeles would be there, but it might be a city of 2 or 3 million people rather than a megalopolis of 14 or 15 million. There'd be no Las Vegas. The American Southwest as we know it simply wouldn't exist but for that dam. It was the first great dam, and it gave us the confidence to build dams of its size elsewhere and on rivers much bigger than the Colorado.
Over the next 3 decades, virtually every major western river was dammed many times over. In 1945, the largest sources of electricity on the planet were the Grand Coulee and Hoover dams, powering the growth of cities from Seattle to San Diego.
People really believed that this was the future, this was progress. Of course, they weren't looking at other things. They weren't looking at what were the long-term environmental consequences going to be, or what could the impacts be on people living downstream who were going to have their water supply taken away.
The Colorado has been dammed and diverted so many times it no longer reaches the sea. It just trickles out and dies in what is now the Mexican desert. Other regions have faced environmental problems as well. In the Pacific Northwest, salmon on the mighty Columbia River are virtually blocked from swimming upstream to lay eggs and renew their species. As their negative consequences become clearer, the United States and other industrialized nations have nearly stopped building large dams. Instead, these countries have turned to coal and nuclear power to meet their energy needs. These solutions also present risks to the environment and can often be very expensive.